and welcome to another Into the Void Real Review. This time we are reviewing Mickey17, directed by Bong Joon-ho of Parasite fame, which came out in 2019. This time he is working with Robert Pattinson and Steven Yeun in a dark sci-fi comedy or sci-fi dark comedy. Whichever it is of the science fiction and dark comedy genre. Call it sci-fi com. I can't help but notice there have been a lot of dark comedies intermixed with other genres this year. Maybe it is the sign of the times. We need to all find humor in times like these. Mickey17 is here to do just that, and I have to lead foremost in how far both Robert Pattinson and Steven Yeun have come as actors. I'm sure we can attest to how Robert Pattinson was so synonymous with Twilight, and Steven Yeun used to be associated with The Walking Dead for so long, and...
Who's he?
That's Edward Cohen. He's totally gorgeous, obviously.
Looks bad. We've all been through hell and worse, but at least we found each other.
Rick, look around. Okay, there's walkers everywhere. They're migrating.
Now look at him.
What's it feel like to die?
So far removed from the lovable Glenn that we all used to know. This is one of Robert Pattinson's most intense and fun performances to watch. He gets to play two extremes of personality that really get to showcase the acting chops he possesses. And Steven Yeun is good as well, putting out a performance that is more left field of what he usually plays. But I digress. You are here to find out if Mickey17 is worth the time, and I will give you a little setup about the movie. This is about a man who signs up to become an expendable. Not that kind of expendable. He becomes contracted to live out his life or lives as a clone who is basically on par with a human guinea pig. He's the man they give all the dangerous jobs to because he is termed expendable. After all, if he dies, they can just reprint him, and that's where you get the term Mickey17 because he is the 17th clone who manages to actually escape death unbeknownst to the scientists who end up cloning an 18th iteration of Mickey, which, as you can imagine, causes all sorts of issues once Mickey17 comes back to where he lives to find Mickey18 kicking it with his girlfriend Nasha, played by Naomi Ackie, who, if I recall, produced and acted in last year's thriller Don't Blink Twice. And there you have the premise of Mickey17 in a nutshell. Of course, the movie has some great world building, dealing with a human civilization that is looking to colonize a new planet because Earth has become such an inhospitable place to live. Hence is why Mickey signed up to be an expendable in the first place. However, there is some real political satire at play here once Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette get introduced into the mix as the power couple Kenneth Marshall and Aoife. Art imitates life in a sense. Then there is this overlying theme of who the real aliens are once they arrive at Niflheim, and roly-poly aliens get introduced into the sauce of this movie. Which, in this movie, sauce is brought up in a real way that I was not sure what it represented or what significance it had in the context of everything that happens during the 2-hour and 15-minute runtime. But yes, there is this overlying theme of who the real aliens are because a salient point can be made, and it is made in the movie, that the humans are the ones coming to Niflheim and are essentially invading the home of these roly-poly aliens known as creepers. So it can be assumed that humans are the aliens in this case. Mark Ruffalo hams it up as Kenneth Marshall, and some may say it is a little too cartoony in execution, but I think the reason it is cartoony or extreme, in my opinion, is to really accentuate how sometimes leaders are not really out to lead, but only to seek attention. In conclusion, Mark Ruffalo plays a real good attention whore. This film really asks the question of why are the most deplorable people in charge while the good guys of the world, aka Mickey17, are relegated to a life of servitude and penance. Mickey17 is so used to being treated so badly, and he really thinks it is something that he deserves. He really is just another number, literally and figuratively. Everyone questions why he fears death since he has experienced it so much. The thing is, just because you experience something so much doesn't mean it's okay and you don't fear it anymore. Mickey tends to see the best in mankind to the point that he is naive in who he sees as his friend, and he also thinks that the people around him will see the light and become better people. Unfortunately, he just ends up seeing that humankind is destined to continue to make the same mistakes again and again.
The ship was filled with mostly dickheads.
In the end, Mickey17 does explore a lot of themes of compassion and the lack of it when the need for attention becomes the front and center and worship beyond all other things. The need for compassion is often overlooked as well when we look to cloning to solve the scientific problems that plague space travel and the colonization of worlds. It introduces a new set of problems that we are ill-equipped to deal with. This is why I enjoyed Mickey17, because the underlying premise of it is so intriguing. Not so much the actual look of the film, because of course this is no Star Wars or Alien. It's not that kind of science fiction film. My younger self would most likely not have liked this movie. This is a strange movie, make no mistake, but I see why it is strange, and it is because of that strangeness that I do like it. There are also some plot threads with certain individuals, namely Kai Katz, which didn't need to be there. It mostly involved Mark Ruffalo using his and her genes to propagate Niflheim once it was colonized. It wasn't really explored much and probably could have been left out. It just really accentuated how disgusting Mark Ruffalo's character was. And then what was the deal with the sauce? In a nutshell, this movie is more like a satirical comedy echoing real-world problems in a science fiction movie about cloning. That is obviously a very real part, but it has a real layered meaning beyond that. As we get more scientifically advanced, new moral quandaries pop up, and sometimes the need to further ourselves outshines the moral compass of who we are as a species. The compassion gets lost, and that is what Mickey17 is really about. Mickey17 gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Hope you guys like this content, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Mickey17. Strange, incoherent, and not worth your time, or interesting, on point, and in need of your attention. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time when we venture into the void.